Welcome to Tuesday.
Hey, hey, hey.
We had such a great weekend.
Yes.
That was phenomenal. So we're glad that you're here, glad that you're showing up and doing the work and doing all the things that need to be done. So tonight we are going to recap what we did on Saturday.
Yep.
I've heard a lot of people say they like when we do this because they get another chance to hear,
Yeah.
right, without all the distraction.
Double check their notes.
Yep. So SNSD Andy Young, the rally, some promotions, and talking about Winston-Salem coming up. What you got?
So social, right? So if you want to show up on our social media wall, use our hashtag SNSD Factory on SNSD on Twitter or Instagram, or if you're on Facebook, mention at Let's Get Bigger Go Home, or if you want to text us at 404-465-1830, we can manually add your post when we have time. They need to be public posts, emails, YouTube comments, direct messages, stories. That stuff doesn't work. So traditional public posts using the hashtags on Twitter, Instagram, or the @ on Facebook. And if you want to show up, you can see our wall right here. We had a bunch of posts that came in during the meeting. So lots of great stuff. Obviously, you know, Bill Arender's coming in town for Winston-Salem. Made that announcement. You know, we were kind of being coy with it for a little while, but you know, that's.
And then you know who.
Yeah, he blabbed.
He blabbed.
Yeah.
Can't hold that in.
We were trying to get him to speculate, you know.
You just suck it up.
Me, that's okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so if you want, and that wall's visible at getbiggergohome.com. There's a social feed tab. I think it's on the downloads page too, or something.
I think it's got its own page.
It's on maybe its own
tab.
page, but yeah, you can get on there if you want and add to it or see it, even if we're not cutting to it during the live show.
Yeah, all the time, right?
Yep.
Go out and show everybody and do all your stuff with it. So if you did any promotions this week, go ahead and send those in right now to getbiggergohome.com at the downloads page. You can enter all that stuff right there, and we will pull those and announce those around 8 o'clock. Kicked off? You did not kick off the rally.
No, rally has not been kicked off yet. Is it ready?
It's ready.
All right. Trish said we're ready. Rally's going. RVPs only.
Done.
Text us 404-465-1830. Make sure you include your last name in there or some sort of way to identify you. If you got a common last name, you might want to put a first initial or something. And then obviously the number of people from your base shop that are watching, feel free to text us even if you only got one person in the base shop, yourself. And if somebody comes in later into the show and finally reports in how many, whatever, team leader or something, just send us another text with an updated number. And who won not just last week, we're talking more importantly, and turning up the heat.
Good job.
Walter Charles.
Walter Charles team, congratulations.
Yep.
Guys are showing up, doing the work.
Yep. So he's got the cup and the belt.
Wow.
Do not forget to bring the belt to Winston-Salem, where it'll be on the line again. If you want a shot at the title, I need to see you Winston-Salem in July. But if you want a shot at the cup, you can do that tonight. So gather your team and win the cup and win some coaching with Andy.
I wonder if we should put a tracker on the belt.
Low jacket?
Yeah.
I mean,
consider it, maybe?
Yeah.
Some way to track the thing. So, RVPs only.
Yep.
404-465-1830. Text your team attendance.
Yep.
RVP, last name, number of people. Did you already go through all that?
Yeah, that's just the recap.
Recap.
Tell them,
All
tell them
right.
again.
Okay, I think we're on to the intro.
All right.
All right, y'all get on your feet for the great Andy Young.
Wow. Look at that ovation. I can feel it. It's just a vibration. It's about to knock me down right here. What a great event on Saturday, though. And, I think about it, playing music. And you're part of a band. And I was part of the band that played at the teen clubs and the dances and stuff like that. That was like the 5-man band. But, the band, the orchestra, where you got 150 pieces in there. And you practice and you practice and you practice. Embrace the repetition. And you never get to play the concert until the concert. And all the way through your practice, the conductor is always stopping, like, hey, what are you doing over there? What are you doing? Start over, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. Well, the night of the concert, you can't stop. So you have to play it through it. And I've got on my, iPod, whatever crap it is on here, up here in the cloud, I've got the concert from Chicago. And there's about 15 warts and moles in there where it's like, oh, God, there's a mistake. But nobody in the audience really knew. We knew because we practiced it so many times, just any little subtle thing. But when it's game time, you play through. Same thing in football. You know, you practice probably 1,000 hours. I tell the story of the homecoming queen. That was one of the motivators for me. What's that vision? What's that picture? The visual. You know, we went to Francis Averett's last week, and I know we got some great stuff coming up on that we'll see in the next few weeks. But the great Francis Averett, one of the A.L. Williams originals, you know, talking about you got to own your dream, control the 6 inches between ear to ear, and make sure you've got the right voices in there, the right mentors talking to you, and, you know, the simplicity and having your dream and knowing what your dream is. Your dream is your why, and your why should make you cry and keep you up at night. It's not like you're slobbering all over yourself and can't just kind of, oh, a great dream. If it's a dream that has to be done, it's not fulfilled yet, man, you got to be just restless and relentless about that thing. And everybody's got to know it. And then the other side of that is nobody really cares about your dream, but you got to have one. They got to know that you have one, and you got that fire, that look at the tiger in your eye, that kind of stuff. You got yours, but you got to help everybody identify theirs. And so the great thing I love about game time and the preparation in the gym, I'm talking about working out, lifting weights, running, doing all your aerobics, lifting more weights, you know, legs one day, upper body the next day, and thousands of hours going, and then it's finally game time. And the weather's starting to cool down a little bit, you know, and you got the pep rally, you got the band playing the fight song. Everybody's excited. You get to wear that jersey, you know, the Friday before the game and walk down the hall. And that part's exciting, and it's game time. And the thing I love about Saturday, it was game time. And we had one warm-up game in Keystone, which was, it was tough because they were still code orange. We were code yellow, and then they went to code orange right hours before our meeting. Fortunately, we were able to keep it at code yellow. But that meeting almost didn't happen. And I know some people were frustrated, like, well, this didn't look like that was organized, or this. Hell, we ended up having to do 8 meetings instead of 2. We didn't know what it was going to look like, and the meeting turned out great because it was game time. And 900 people, our biggest crowd ever, showed up. So that was a good warm-up, you know, and telling us, what, you know, what's the future going to look like. We had our biggest crowd at Flowery Branch. We've never had a Super Saturday that big ever since we started this. Get bigger, go home. And you could not only sense it, you could feel it. You could feel the vibe from everybody. People were so excited to be there. And it's going to be that times 10. And I told people the Friday night Q&A, Saturday, I said, whatever you think Flowery Branch was, that Super Saturday and Friday night, it's going to be times 10 in Winston-Salem. And it is the big event. It's about, you know, game time. It's about you move people event to event. And your challenge right now is how many people, if you want to do something great the rest of this year, because July 1st, July 9th, a week later, but, you know, a little over a week later, but July to December is your 6 months. June 30th is halftime. So the first week basically coming out of the gate right after the 4th of July stuff, you got an opportunity to put people in Winston-Salem. How many layers of people are you going to put in there? And don't be talking about them, get 2 or 3, think minimum 10. And maybe if your goal is 10, maybe you'll end up with 4, 5, 7 or whatever. But I promise you, those people who load up, bet everything, you know, put all their chips on the table, all in, to take people to Winston-Salem, that 3-day event, Friday night, it's going to be a vibe like we haven't seen in a long time. Saturday's going to be great. And then that Saturday night feel, that's when people make the decisions. You know, people make big decisions at big events. It's Saturday night when all that stuff happens. And then Sunday morning, I guarantee you, wherever you think you should have been, should be, or whatever your game plan was or is, you can fulfill all that if you load up by getting people to the event. And from my standpoint, you know what? We had Keystone, sold out. We had Super Saturday, sold out. We had some people stream. We don't have the stream for Winston-Salem. You're either there or you don't get it. So you better be there. Don't count on that. But you have people there. That's what's going to make a difference for you. And I promise you, those of you who haven't been, that's the other interesting thing. We got a lot of people who've never been to a big event. We'll probably have close to 40, 50% of the people there have never been to Winston-Salem, which is going to be a great thing. The question is how many of those people are going to be yours. It'll be a sellout regardless of whatever you do. Now, if you load up, it'll be a sellout. If for some reason you can't make it, it's going to be a sellout. If you have 1 or 2 people instead of 10, It's going to be a sellout, and it's going to be one of the best meetings we've ever had because of the people coming out of COVID, because of where we are with the company, with the momentum we have, the COCO plan. And that's what a lot of people don't totally understand, you know, the COCO plan, not just the run for the Ruby and all the other stuff. Build a business. Don't chase income, chase outcome, which includes income. I'm not putting income to the side, but you got to make a decision. Are you going to play at the highest level? And that means the events. And I don't care if it's this TV show, you got to fight for the rally. You got to get your numbers in there. I don't care what it is. And here's the other challenge you got. Everybody's looking at you if you're the leader. You're going to be either going for it or not going for it. And I don't want anybody to ever look at me as a leader and say he wasn't going for it. I had somebody ask me a couple weeks ago at one of the retreats we did, I think it was down in Florida, you know, back when you were really working and building, it's like, hell, I got 27 new RVPs. And since the IPO, which almost nobody in the company has. And Tom Brady is 42 years old and won another Super Bowl. You know, so what level are you playing at? He ain't playing like, okay, I won 6 Super Bowls, maybe I'll get this one. He's playing as hard or harder than when he was a rookie. And so that's the way you got to play the game, with everything you got, give it all you got. And so the bad news is it's going to take all you got. The great news is it's going to take all you got. It's not going to take more than what you got, but you got to give it all you got. And if it's pulling out from your pockets, put my money on the table, I want to see lint, a little thread come out of there. You know, it's what level you want to play at. So I promise you, we are bringing the heat. We've already brought the heat. If you weren't feeling that at Keystone, feeling that on Saturday, I promise you're going to feel it in Winston-Salem. The question is, will you cash in on it? And that's where we are today. So maybe we go back to who we got here. Some guests, right? Yeah. Who we have guests? We have who? Sylvia?
We have Sylvia and Robbie.
And the Kings.
And
and the Kings.
Sharon.
All right.
Yep.
Good. So who's going first here?
Sylvia's.
Sylvia's first.
For a
Sylvia.
little 2-minute takeaway. There she is. She'll be up.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Well, Andy was absolutely right, of course. You could absolutely feel the heat and the energy on Saturday. It was apparent from the time you pulled up to the time you walked in the building. It was great. So some of my biggest takeaways, I guess the first thing that ran through the course of everybody talking was the need for consistency, right? And consistency is what is required to maintain momentum. So you have to ask yourself, if I don't have any momentum, then I'm consistently doing something. It must be I'm consistently doing the wrong thing. So consistency is what's going to get you momentum so that your business can keep growing. And the other thing is vision. Like Andrea Burks did a great job when she was talking about her kids pulling up to where her beautiful mansion is going to be, and they say, I see dirt. And she's like telling them what the house is going to look like. They're like, look, mama, or mommy, she said in Spanish, and we would say mama. She's like, look, I see dirt. So we have to be able to paint a clear picture, just like Andy just painted a football season, down to the jersey, wearing the jersey on Friday nights. He painted such a clear picture of Friday night football. We have to be able to paint that clear picture as to where we're going. We have to have that clear, concise mental picture in our heads, because if we can't see it, we can't feel it, then what is it? We won't be able to sell it. There's one I'm missing in there. But we have to be able to do that. And then the last one, guys, is COCO it up. COCO it up. We have to do what's required to build a big business, right? 25, 50, 100 100 recruits a month so that we can promote RVPs, so that we can build a business that provides us income, whether we're working or we're not. So for me, the threads that ran through the energy on Saturday was consistency, a clear, concise mental picture, and having a vision, and doing what's required to win. That's what I got.
Great stuff. Hey, give us 30 seconds on the palm.
Wow, the palm was exceptional. Andy's being the great mentor, teacher, and investor that he is, he took Team Believe and some of the people that had won the challenge for us to go over $100,000. He took us to the Palm yesterday. And everybody that I've spoken to said, wow, it is so much better being in the room with you, Andy. They've seen you on TV, they've seen you on YouTube, they've seen you from a distance. But being in that room with you, feeling your energy, having you speak directly to them, the same message, but guess what? You were talking to everybody directly in that room. And the way that we have to pay you back, Andy, is we can't come out of that room the same way as we went in. So Team Believe is hitting 50 recruits this month.
All right, great stuff. Had a lot of good times with your guys. Looking for big things to come. All right, who we got now? We got Robbie Hall. Let's hear it, Robbie.
Good evening, folks. Hope everybody's had a great day, running through a great June. Yeah, a couple of things. Definitely a shout out, Sylvia and Lou. Y'all just looked just a different whole glow about you up there. New $100,000 earners. Belty, your backstory was incredible. You did a great job there. Mary is always just a freaking bomb with what she does, and of course Andy the GOAT. But I'm kind of partial to my first RVP. Terry Sheridan absolutely slammed it. She absolutely slammed it. I'm so proud of her, what she did. But I tell you what really kind of resonated with me was Robin West. That presentation, Andy's presentation. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of feel like Jimmy Swaggart, 1988, coming on doggone national television saying, I have sinned against A.L. Williams. I've had an affair with Prime America. I've gotten away from what I needed to be doing. And, you know, as I was watching those guys, I was taking notes and going through going, holy cow, man, that's good. Man, that's good. Man, that's good. And then going back and say, you know, I haven't been doing that. I haven't been doing it. And then I had to go back and I had to say, so what was it that got you RVPs, Robbie? And I'm going to be honest with you. I believe it was a 2-pager with Terry Sheridan. I believe it was a 2-pager that Terry used with Hillary Nickel. I believe it was a 2-pager with Gigi McGinnis. And I believe it was a 2-pager with Evelyn Tejada. So why in the heck am I looking at anything else? Why in the heck am I looking at anything other than putting out RVPs? And I'll tell you where we get to. Everybody falls into this. You start thinking, well, people can't see this and people can't see that. People don't understand this. But here's what I want you to dial in on. What do you want? What are you after? Are you after a business like Andy Young? Are you after a pay scale of $15 a minute? Is that what you're after? Because Andy's presentation eliminates the ones we're not looking for. Andy's presentation is looking specifically for red cars. Specifically. And that's what we got to have. That's what we need. So it's not about this long, eloquent Prime America deal. It's about this short, sweet, getting to the point, what we're looking for. And Andy has mastered that. You have to think about number one, does Andy value his time? And the answer to that is yes. Second thing is at $15 a minute, you think he's maximizing his time? The answer to that is going to be yes. So now where it dials in is basically what we got to do is it goes back to finding someone who has what you want, asking them what to do to get it, and then doing it. So in the words of the great P. Diddy and Skylar Gray of the 2010 Dirty Money album, I'm coming home, Andy. It's game time. Thank you.
All right, great stuff, Robbie. Appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you in the morning. All right, now I think we got Jaron and Peggy on. Is that right? There's Jaron.
Hey, Andy, thank you so much. Yep, can you hear me? Yep. Hey, Andy, thank you so much, man. Yeah, what a great event it was, man. Again, you knew when you walked in that room, something was different, man. And if you walked in that room and you didn't feel the energy, something different, man, check your post. That thing was electrifying. And I done been in a lot of rooms, man, but man, that room walking in Saturday was just electrifying. You felt it, you heard it, you saw it. Shout out, I always got to do it to Night Glass Media, man. What a production. It was first class, man. The lighting was incredible. Just everything was just amazing at that event. And Andy talked about this a couple of weeks ago, I think last week in the Breakfast Club, where he said, man, you know, all the stories and most of the stories I've ever heard of people in the company succeeding all came back to big events. So that's why I got to continue to have big events, because that's where the stories are made. And it's so true, man. And that's why you always got to have big events and attend big events and have people come to big events, because so many stories are going to come out of that event this past weekend. And we already got stories coming out of it. We had people come from Chicago. We had people come from South Carolina. I mean, man, like you said, not a lot of people are doing this, if any, that I knew. And we had, the first big event coming out of COVID, and the best event, I believe, coming out of COVID, and just can't wait to see what's going to happen in Winston-Salem. And then, as always, the thing that we all get from events is what? The biggest thing, the stories. Man, the stories. You heard so many people's story. I mean, I was so inspired by Olivier, his story, his RVP about, the company that he wanted to start in the beginning, and, how he got prospected with the animation thing or whatever company, how he got prospected. And then to hear him say when he first heard the big event, the Saturday big event, he said, man, how many tickets do I get to buy? I mean, and that's a different mindset, how many tickets do I get to buy? And so I thought that was great and inspiring. And then again, to hear his story, to see Belda show that video, I thought was so creative before her speech, just to take back where she came from. And I mean, I'm sure that moved everybody and inspired so many people, man. That was so powerful and so creative. Terry Sheridan, it's just so many people delivered. Mary, and then Andy's story at the end, what hit me the most is what he said, man, about making promises to people that will keep you up at night. Are you really making those promises that are keeping you up at night? Because why? You got to deliver on them. And I thought that was just a great way to send us all off, to say, hey, man, let's take this opportunity serious. Let's go deliver for the people who we say we're going to come here and deliver for. And, man, it is truly game time, the second half, coming down the stretch of the second half of the year. Man, people, we've already been talking about how I don't think we all can even imagine how explosive Winston-Salem is going to be, because, I think we all take for granted that a lot of these people that we got during this time were in Zoom world, and nobody, a lot of them didn't even get a chance to see the Winston-Salems that we all saw. And, whatever we thought we saw back then, I believe it's going to be 1,000 times better with the new Winston-Salem. So, Andy, I'm excited about it, man. On to the next event, and hey, that's my time.
All right, we're going to light it up, man. Appreciate that. You guys are doing a great job. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
All right, you guys. So one of the most talked about, at least that I heard, was the presentation that you and Wes did. Y'all did a phenomenal job. I think people really wanted to see it played out, right? And to see why. So I decided I would go ahead and cut it into 4 little segments, and we'll run one segment each week. And it'll give you and Wes a chance, and Andy, to kind of pull it apart just a little bit more, right? I watched it all back this morning, and it was just, honestly, it's great. It's phenomenal. So I think we'll go ahead and play the video first, Sam, and then we'll invite Wes on.
The first bullet point you want to write down is the 2-minute story, right? This is your story. This is a 2-minute biography of yourself, literally 2 minutes. You think you're going to not have enough to say, and then you write it down, you get ready to do it, and it's like 35 minutes long. So really the hard part is cutting it down. But the important part is you want to be relatable to people. The person who relates to the most people wins. So my 2-minute story is I grew up all over the Southeast. Virginia and Tennessee are the 2 states where I spent most of my time. In Virginia, we had a nice life. My dad was a golf pro. He worked at country clubs. He loved to teach golf. He hated working at the country club. He thought he could move back home to the farm where he grew up in Tennessee and start teaching golf there. It didn't work out. My parents lost all their money. So through high school, everything got really tight. But like your guidance counselor and everybody else around you that you look up to when you're little tells you if you study hard, do well in school, everything will work out. So they told me engineers made a lot of money. Mechanical engineers designed race cars. So I signed on the dotted line for a pile of student loans, went off to school, and 3 years in, I found out that most engineers aren't going to be designing race cars when I did my first internship. But I was stuck with all this debt. I couldn't fix it. So I had to keep doing it. Graduated in the recession, couldn't find a job for a year, had to work for minimum wage, and then finally after the economy recovered, I worked in the auto industry for 5 years, and then after that, I started selling robots because I was working all the time when I was in the auto industry. I'd go almost a month and a half without a day off, right? So even though you're making money, you got no time. So I wanted my weekends back. I was selling robots. That allowed me to move to Atlanta, where I live now, and marry the girl I've been dating long distance. Her father has been in this business since 1980. He showed me this business. And I tried to start a business out of college. I never had enough money, didn't have the capital to get it off the ground. He basically showed me a model where through 5 to 10 people and their referrals, we can build ourselves our own agency of 25 to 40 licensed agents. Most of those people part-time. You can do that in a short time period, about 5 to 12 months. And if those 25 to 40 people make 30 sales a month in our business model, you can make $155,000 a year as the broker without having to write the sales yourself. You can build it, you can own it, you can pass it on to your kids. So that's the 2-minute story.
I mean, is mine on?
It should be. It might just bring the levels up. Keep talking.
Hello? Y'all can hear me though, right? Hello?
You're good.
That's better than mine. Mine was I used to work at Publix, went to male stripper school, got rejected, and ended up here.
Y'all
So,
seen
but-
that SNL skit with the Chippendales and Chris Farley? Is like that.
But here's what you got to remember. Your story is your story, but don't lie. We have one of the vice presidents, she was talking about how she grew up, kind of in the hood and all that stuff, it wasn't true. She grew up in a really good family, so you don't have to make up a story. But you realize his story, it was 2 minutes. You don't go 30 minutes, Andy has this story, Belda, which is a superstar now, but when she was first getting it together, she's like, hey, lived in a trailer park, kind of like a trailer park, not really made out of wood, maybe some steel. So you don't need to do all that. Cut to the point, 2 minutes, the best 2 minutes you got, and then you move on to the intro.
Exactly. You want to do the intro?
Yeah. So the intro, and this is what Andy talks about, us being part of City, then us buying ourselves out in the IPO, and even though we're a 44-year-old company, which is 11 years in Wall Street now, right? So everybody looks at us as an 11-year-old company, and the truth is, look, the company, 130,000 representatives, 6 million combined clients in the U.S., Canada, Spain, UK, so New York Stock Exchange traded company, started out at $15 a share, April of 2010. You fast forward just recently, we peaked at $165 a share. So just amazing growth over that period of time. And then if you think about it, to give an idea of what we do, so let's say you guys were gonna purchase a flat screen TV. Where would you go to get one? Walmart, Best Buy.
And
right?
he asked this question to the person he's talking to.
Exactly. So you ask him, get that interaction
WFA.
going. So, what you call me? So what happens is you go to Best Buy, Walmart, some people say Amazon, but no matter where you go, you're not gonna buy Amazon, Walmart brand TV. You're gonna get a brand you know and trust. It might be something like Sony, LG, Vizio, made by Sony, backed by Sony. And so here's the thing, those companies, they don't make TVs, but we call them a distribution company because they carry the brands we like and trust. And so we are the same way. We're a financial services distribution company. We carry all the different financial options for the consumer. So one of the things we do is low cost, high value, affordable term life insurance for families. Because 85% of widows under the age of 50 lose their home within the first year of losing their spouse.
Repeat that 3 more times and make them write it down.
So 85% of widows under the age of 50 lose their home within the first year of losing their spouse. Why do you think that statement is so important?
Because people know somebody that happened to, right? You point at them. You say, you already know this, right? You already know this because you already heard somebody, whether it was a GoFundMe on Facebook you saw or, your kids' Little League teams raising money, they're doing a bake sale or they're doing a fish fry at church. They're trying to raise money for somebody in the exact same situation, 20, 30, 40, 50 years old. They got in a car accident. They got cancer. Whatever it was, now they're trying to help the family out. And if they raise 10 grand with the fundraiser, that's a great fundraiser, right? I mean, think about it. I mean, most of those GoFundMes raise like $400. Right. And if I was to give you 10 grand for coming to the venue today, you'd want to know if we're going to have another Super Saturday on Sunday, right? Yeah. But if I gave you 10 grand after you just buried your spouse and said, hey, you still got to make your car payment, you still got to make your mortgage payment, you got to pay for your kids, get them raised, all that stuff. It's not going to last a month. And that's what we fix for people with high value, low cost term life insurance, right?
Exactly.
All right.
I told him to clap loud for me.
Got inside info there.
Yeah, exactly.
Insider trading.
Look at these guys, all fired
Yeah,
up. I
I know,
love it.
right? That's awesome.
Oh man.
All right.
I think
is
I
Wes
can live
there?
another day now.
Good.
I am here.
Hey, Wes. So one
What's
question
going
I
on,
had as
Darla?
I watched that for the third time
Uh-huh.
is like, you guys, we say all that. We say the whole thing about the GoFundMe and
Yep.
all of that. Because the way you do it there, it kind of sounds like, well, I'm just telling Wes about it a little bit. But
Yeah.
the way you guys did such a seamless job of explaining all the parts, right?
Yep.
Very casual, just telling you a story.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yep. All right, guys. See you later.
Yeah, I know, right?
Mic drop.
Oh, yeah. Hey, can y'all hear me right now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we hear you and see you.
Oh, okay, good. Because I was like, man, whatever, they got me away just because I applied to male stripper school and got rejected. They're like,
No.
whatever, we don't want to hear from this guy. But basically, you was mentioning something about the personal story, correct?
Well, I was talking about just the way that you guys are really good at delivering it as a story, right? That it's
Absolutely.
not, and that for sure the part that Rob just went over about the group, GoFundMe and all of that is part of this presentation. It's part of the story.
Okay, yeah, no, that's true because Andy always talks about relating to people at your level, and you put your touch as far as who you are into it. Obviously, everybody has a different story. Rob's story is not my story. And that's the whole thing, find 2 minutes of what really got you to where you're at, but then you could tie it all in together. It is everything Andy says in that presentation is something everybody could relate to. 85% of widows under the age of 50 lose their home within the first year of losing their spouse. And Andy always says this, it doesn't matter how they look at us at the end of that presentation, it's a fact. 2 things. 85% of widows are, lose their home within the first year of losing their spouse, and banks are 100% committed to ripping people off. No matter what people look at you as, like you don't know what you're talking about, those 2 things will remain a fact, and I think everybody can relate to that.
Come on. Yeah, well, and the big thing too is just keeping it simple. Keep it simple. And the reason we do an 18-minute presentation, or I did it, people say, did you really do that? Yeah, 27 RVPs later, absolutely, because people are watching. And, that's one of the things Robbie talked about. I mean, hell, he went to senior vice president. Those RVPs, I did that presentation over and over and over and over again and didn't add like everybody else does between media, social media, POL, everything else out there. Keep it simple, run the same play, embrace the repetition, and they're either going to go do something or not. It ain't no big deal. But you guys knocked it out of the park. I heard probably the best comments of the whole weekend were about the presentation. You guys did a great job knocking it out of the park, and we're going to see how many people get this thing moving, get double-digit recruiting down, and get big around here. Thanks a lot, guys.
I got one more thing, Andy.
Uh-oh.
Cameraman, put it close on me now.
If we had one.
Well, one thing you'll hear it in probably segment 4.
Okay.
But I neglected to put it in, and since we kind of got it broken up today, I want to go ahead and put this in here. Part of relating to people on their level, the person who relates to most people is going to win here. That's part of that is the 2-minute story. Part of that is the kind of the examples you use to tell those stories that you got to tell through the presentation. But the bullshit chit chat.
Yeah.
You gotta know what's going on. You gotta be able to talk to somebody before you go right into the presentation. Talk about even if it's got to be the damn weather, but hopefully about some sports teams or something. Something in the news that ain't too offensive. No third rail issue like religion or politics. But Andy always says USA Today. Go to the sports section every day. And I mean Andy knows who won the NASCAR race, even though he didn't watch it. Right. That's what you got to do. You got to be able to kind of have those conversations and make a friend out of everybody that you sit down with. And that's how you do it. So
That was easy, right? Doing that part for you?
I mean, you got to get good at it.
Yeah,
It's
you do.
not something you, unlike the presentation, it's not something you can memorize. But you just do it. It's free though.
It is,
USA Today's free.
and it's not a super long time.
So
So, nope, great. And you do that part for 10 or 15 minutes, 5, 10 minutes, whatever, like
Yep.
before you get ready. And let me just tell you then about why I'm here,
yeah,
right?
not part of the 20-minute presentation,
Not
but
part.
of the system.
Yes, 100%. So we will move on next week
Mm-hmm.
to theory of decreasing responsibility, the rule of 72, and
Okay.
those things that come after that, and we'll talk about that. So I just wanted to throw that out there and start pulling that stuff apart so you guys can all get even better at it. All right, if you've promoted anybody this week, now's your chance. Turn those promotions in to getbiggergohome.com and go to the downloads page where it is the top form, and you should be all set.
Yep.
And we will read them shortly.
Trish?
Wow, are we all ready to Trish?
Yep.
We are.
Flying through.
Yep. I have one little 2 cents to add, too.
Uh-oh.
GoFundMe
Oh,
takes a chunk of your money when you do that. Primerica doesn't take a chunk of your money. You get what you paid for. But GoFundMe, what is it, 8% or something? It's
no
like
idea.
crazy how much they take. So if you do a GoFundMe, I'm against them. That's why I'm saying this. Okay. So I'm going to start off with the RVPs that have reported in so far, and then go from here. Goodman, Peel, Ottinger, Whitmer, McKeever, Hall, Sala, Richmond, McGinnis, Wagner, Johnson, Espinosa, Robinson, Langston, Marshall, Janke, Mole, Morrow, Parker, Martin, Tejada, Red, Eubanks, Lewis, Price, Nadal, Cheeks, Trin, Lane, Costanzas, Kahn, Roach, Shaw, Catan, Bynum, Bellarice, Hashish, Jackson Jolly, Shakar, Kofer, Thompson, Muse, Snavely, Searcy, Hayes, Florinord, Scott, Schmidt, Madkins, Sheridan, Kahana, Doris Rodriguez, Shanti Walker, Pallant, and Santana Allen.
All right.
That's where we stand so far. Uh-huh.
So if you want to participate in the rally and get your name read off, you got to send us a text, 404-465-1830. RVPs only. If you're not an RVP, don't send us no text right now. Tell us your last name and how many people from your base shop are watching. So we got an example there, RVP Young, 999. Next video time, huh?
good number. All right, you guys, so the next video is a little combination video. I went in and listened to it and edited them together. It's Mary Hayes talking about do the work and Terry Sheridan talking about no excuses.
This is all here, but originally there were 4 people looking at each other in Georgia. One was me, one was Kristen, one was a lady who never showed up, and one was Andy. And Andy wasn't engaged yet. He was real good at signing people into ops and running errands. That's what Andy Young did in the beginning. Okay, but Kristen, talk about what you did in the beginning.
So we had a contest. And by the way, this is such an awesome event, guys. Mary and I had 27 days to run a contest, which, by the way, the payout was $500. And between the two of us, I put 144 people in a room, and Mary put 133. So I won. But, you know, we had an average of 10 people showing up. We were going all over the perimeter. We were going down south. We were going east. We were going west. We were going north. And we recruited 27 people out of that, you know. And so the thing about what we did, and she's going to talk about that, it was literally the two of us, you know. Andy every now and again would come in, and we'd convince him to try to help with sign-in. And every now and again, he would help. But he did the back-end stuff, of course, as you guys know. But so that's what we did.
He brought food.
Yeah, he brought food, because, you know, he likes to eat. But so that's pretty much what we did, and Mary's going to hit on that a little bit more because, you know, it was just the two of us to get this thing started at the very beginning.
Okay, the reason I wanted to do this is even a meeting I had yesterday with, no, you stay right here, Kristen. The meeting I had yesterday with 3 people, they were even kind of whining about it's just us. And I'm thinking, first off, we didn't know anywhere in Georgia. We were lost all the time. There was no GPS, there was no maps, there was none of that. I knew the office was over there. I didn't know how to get there, but I knew it was there. And then your stupid streets are this street, this street, this street. We were lost all the time. Peachtree, every street's Peachtree. God forbid. So you took 2 people that I flew in from Indiana. She drove down from North Carolina, and we started from total scratch. At the end of those 27 days, though, we got 27 recruits, but we had already gotten up to 59 recruits through them, because that's what you need to do. And see, if you put a launch together and would do this over a 20 to 30-day period, you'd never have to prospect again if you do it right and you work through the people. So the work is, number one, person in your chair, not somebody else in your office, not somebody else. You have to put people into the opportunity meetings. And see, in our case, we did an opportunity meeting every day, 7 p.m. and 5 p.m. or noon, 7 p.m. and noon. And who did the ops? Oh, her and I did the ops. There were nobody else to do the ops, not in the very beginning. And then you had some people, so now we need training. So I would open training, and I think it was an 8-track tape. Was it a VCR? Shit, I don't know what it was. But it was something I could do, because as soon as I opened, I'd put the tape in, I'd go in the back of the op, she opened the op, went and finished training, and I closed the op. So quit lying to yourself that you'll poor old little you. I don't care if it's just you. If you got a 12-year-old, they can sign people in, okay? So, number 1, momentum demands consistency. You cannot do this and one day on, one day off. If you lose a day where you don't work, you lose a week. You take off a week and don't talk to nobody in your team, you lose a month. Number 2, you have to know your people's dreams, goals, and you must have the clearest CCMP, clear, concise mental picture you can get. Number 3, you have to have inventory. You have to have people to call. Number 4, it's hard work, consistency, and you got to have some courage. Don't you ever back down from calling people. I thank God every day that kid who played softball with my husband called my house, and I said yes. I was a widow at 44 years old. Before Primerica, I had credit card debt, car payments, a house payment. Had money in the credit union. Had $75,000 worth of life insurance. When I was 44 years old and a widow at 44 with kids and grandkids, I had over $1 million saved. I had no debt, and I had a big 6-figure income. What if they had never called me? Stop it. Fear of calling somebody, you can change their life forever. Why wouldn't you talk to and call everybody? And then you need a map. And the first thing is, where do you want your office, Charlie? Where do you want your office, Brandon? Where do you want your new office, Tim and Terry? Okay? And then your level of belief is the number 1 thing that stops you, the person in your chair. Your dreams, your belief, the time that you'll take to go win, and the inventory you put together. Thank you.
Andy's right. I made a lot of excuses in the beginning. So I've been here 6 years. I went over the $100,000 ring early this year, not because I couldn't have done it a long time ago, but because my mind wasn't there. I wasn't ready. So Andy, being Andy, comes to me, and he comes to Athens. We're eating in a restaurant. And those of you that haven't heard my story, this was the turning point for no excuses, okay? He looks at me, and my husband was up here a minute ago. He's my hero. And he says, "How's your husband?" I was like, "Oh, he's great." He's like, "How's work?" He knows my husband owns a body shop. I was like, "Oh, it's great." He says, "Isn't that manual labor?" Yeah. "Does he have heating and air out there?" I'm like, "No." "Well, how long you think he can keep that up?" You talk about a slap in the face in a kind way. You know, and I'm like, shoot. He says, how's your youngest daughter? How's Carrie?" I'm like, oh, she's good. She just moved out. She's got her own place, getting her crap together. He's like, well, you got to know the backstory. She'd lived with me for 2 years. She didn't work. She had 2 babies when she walked in the door, a 2-year-old and a 2-week-old. Okay? Devastation. She didn't work. Hell, I don't even know that she left the house for 6 months. I mean, just a mess. I had the kids. I paid for everything. He said, you know that's a broke problem, right? And I'm looking at this man like, what you mean that's a broke problem? And guys, it's a different level. Because he looks at me and he said, I got 3 daughters. They would never live with me because I can afford to buy them their own house and pay their bills there. Oh, crap, that is a broke problem. So you got to understand, it's the biggest piece of property you have that you own is the 6 inches between your 2 ears. You got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Shut the hell up and start listening. There's a map for this. It's on www.getbiggergohome.com. You don't reinvent the wheel. You don't make it complicated. You follow the system without excuses. So you're not allowed to have strep throat. You're not allowed to go to the emergency room. But guys, it's because I wasn't ready. So not being ready is a problem. Because what he also told me in that event, when he came and basically told me really bad things in a way that I liked it, like I didn't get it. So he also tells me, young lady, don't you dare come to me and say, Andy, why didn't you tell me? He said, things are about to change. Great things are about to happen. And if you sit on your butt through these times, you are going to regret it. Guys, he's brilliant. Nobody could have even fathomed the COVID, right? Nobody could have guessed that. He was talking about the financial times, but the combination of the two and being ready and not making excuses because I decided that was a broke problem. I did have to say no to my children back in the day. My pledge is I'll never say no to my grandkids. I miss some stuff. I'm working sometimes. I can't go with you, but they can go where they want. They can do what they want because my mindset is there now that this is the business. I don't care what you do. You can be an attorney. You can be a doctor. But 100% of your income is based on you and your efforts. There's no other business where you can train and develop and open outlets if all you do is make no excuses. Get rid of the still people in your life. Still complaining, still sick, still broke. Get rid of them. If they ain't talking positivity in your life and helping your mindset and helping you not make excuses, don't hang with them. Tell them, see you later, I got grandkids to deliver for. That's it, guys. That's how simple it is. Make a decision to follow the system and not make excuses. Leave it with a quote. You can make excuses or you can make money, but you can't do both at the same time.
So Terry, where is Terry?
She's coming.
She there? Terry's coming. There she is. All right. She had a 50 on your jersey there. What's your next move? What's got to happen?
Oh,
You
are you
muted?
muted?
Are you muted? Hello.
She is.
Sorry, got it.
All right.
Yeah, I even told you that, Andy, at the night that I said, it's crazy that we had different jerseys there. One was an old jersey that I handed people, had a 10 on it. Mine had a 50 because it was from the bowl, and that's where the 50 was introduced. But the next one for Winston will have 100. You got to get to 100, and that's it. So the next one's 100. Won't be 50 anymore.
50 recruits and 100. That means you need 3 separate legs doing 10, 6 separate legs doing 10 for 100. That's the name of the game on the Cocoa Run. Mary.
Hello.
All right. Okay. There you are. Okay. What's the, oh, I see. Is that Paris behind your head?
That's Paris behind my head. Yes, sir.
Is that the Paris Hotel in Las Vegas? What is that?
No, that's the Paris. So I don't know how to do this. There you go. There it is.
All right. Perfect. So how critical is the 50 and the 100?
Oh, it's totally critical. It's critical. It's critical for Coco. It's critical to go to Paris, but it's critical for your life, for the rest of your life. Because you do those 3 months of 300 recruits, you pretty much got 9 RVPs coming out of that group. If you do the work with the people that come in, not just get IBAs, but you do the work. So it's totally critical.
So halfway to Cocoa, and then 18 and 500 take you all the way to Cocoa, right?
Right.
All right, we're in the Cocoa Run. It's time to get your double-digit recruiters in place, the 25s, the 50s, and the 100s. Who's going to get started? Who's going to be in North Carolina? You're going to see major recognition starting in the 25, the 50s, and the 100s. So it's time to go. Appreciate you guys. Did a great job on Saturday.
Thank you, Andy.
All right, you guys. So our next video is, I thought, very creative, right? I thought that Belda's video about where she came from and just kind of reminding everybody that we need to all remember where we came from and where we started, right?
Yeah.
So our next clip is just the very beginning part of Belda's talk from Saturday.
Hey guys, today I'm here in Blythe, California, in Mesa Verde. And the reason I'm here is because I wanted to show you where I grew up. I know you guys have heard the story many times from Andy, from myself, of where I grew up, but I've never actually ever showed anything. And today I have the privilege of being here, and I wanted to swing by and look at what I left behind. You know, sometimes getting out of your comfort zone is the hardest thing to do, but it's the most rewarding, and definitely has been for me. In the background, right back there, is where our trailer used to be. It was a single wide, probably 1960s, maybe 1970s. It was made out of aluminum. I mean, it gets to 110 degrees out here, guys, so you could just imagine how hot it was. Those 2 trees there, those are 2 trees that my dad planted because we might have not had any money, but what we did have is a lot of love. And that forever I'm grateful for. But I knew that this could not be my reality. I wanted so much more in life, and you know, with being coachable, being able to do, you know, things that others wouldn't, having a vision, having a dream, I was able to continue doing whatever it was required for me to keep looking until Primerica found me. And I'm so glad Primerica found me, because I did not want this to be my reality. There's no way that I was gonna allow this to be my reality. And now that it's not a problem if it is your reality right now, guys. I'm here to tell you that, hey, at any time you decide to change that reality, you could move out of wherever you're at to something better, but it's gonna take everything you got, and luckily it's only gonna take everything you got. Today I come back and I'm able to drive my dream car, guys, because I was able to think outside the box and allow myself to be taught something different, not the same thing our parents teach us, because unfortunately they don't have all the answers, right? But because I was taught and I had a mentor and I had passion and I had a why, now, hey, I'm not here anymore. And I'm able to help other people get out of this reality of theirs. So guys, I hope this inspires you, because you could come from nothing
There's nothing out here. This was the last trailer in this whole community. And we didn't even have dirt roads, as you could see. I remember we didn't even have running water. But it didn't matter. But this is not my reality. And for that, I'm forever thankful to everybody that's helped me along the way. So thank you guys so much. I hope this inspires somebody to go out and make a difference in your life and anybody that you love's lives, because what you do today will make a difference for eternity. That's just reality, right? You have to know where you come from, but it doesn't have to be your future.
All right, great job. So, Belda, you know, I D.C. one time I walked out and they had in our office, Waldorf, Maryland, and they had put a court-ordered drug rehab center for like 250 people in the office right behind ours. So the break time was interesting with the cigarette breaks, everything was, and as it is in the north, 50 shades of gray, which is the sky, dirt, no grass, everything's just tore up. And I'm like, why am I in southeast D.C. basically? Oh, because two grandparents during the Depression had nowhere else to go, and they ended up, that's where they started. And 80 years later, 80 people from those two guys, the family, are still there. I said, that doesn't work for me anymore. That's when I found Florida in the wintertime and all the great places to go. And as you're walking around there, you know, I went out there one time with you, not that particular trip when you made this video, but when you showed me where you grew up, and I know Mesa Verde means like green table or green plateau. There ain't nothing green out there but those two trees. But it's unbelievable. And what happened is that's where your parents came in to try and have their dreams come true. And they worked, busted their gut, did whatever they had to do to make it happen. You're talking about picking up cans and bottles, whatever, to make a better life. And then you come along and to get out of there. And Frances Averett, we were down there last week at her lodge, looked at you, pointed right at you and said, that girl's got it, the fire in her eyes, the eye of the tiger. That's what's going to have her win, and that is the dream that keeps you up at night. So talk about making the transformation, the transition from whatever anybody could do, which was the best they could do, and turning that into something so much bigger, having mentors to help you with that, but then having that dream where everybody sees it, knows it, they can feel it and smell it, and that's how you sell it. So talk a little bit about that passion it takes.
Well, I mean, definitely it takes passion, it takes desire to win, it takes everything you got in order to get to the next level, but it also takes you to be coached by someone else. And so you have to get yourself in a position where you're just humbled. And because sometimes when you want something, unfortunately, you don't allow people to put you in where you're supposed to be. And so even if you're gifted, you got the eye of the tiger or whatever, but if you're allowing other things, other obstacles to get in the way, you're never going to achieve it. But, having your why in front of you all the time is definitely a must. And sometimes, the whys change. Not all the time is it going to remain the same. As you start accomplishing certain things, it starts shifting. But you definitely have to have that desire. But also the most important thing is being coachable, because if I could have done it myself, I would have done it. But of course I didn't have, I had the desire, had the passion from a long time ago, but I didn't know my way. And so I had to wait until Andy came around and then started guiding me to where, I saw myself, I saw my future, what it could look like. Because that's one thing that Andy does so great, is that he exposes us to what your life could look like if you allow him to. And, so many times I've seen so many people be exposed, but they still go back to the same old thing. And to me, it's like, no, this person's holding my hand every, step of the way. He's showing me exactly what I need to do in order to get to the next level. I don't want to go back. I won't go back. And so, hey, I'm going to move forward, but I'm going to move forward in a direction where Andy's going. And so definitely have the fire in the eyes, but also the coachability. I think that a lot of people, the lack of coachability is what stops them along the way.
And it does, but when you think about, and Jaron talked about this, You know, the woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. Talk about the eyes that you look at, the old eyes and the young eyes that keep you focused, keep you on track, to understand that you've got to do what it takes to change their life and their visual. And you've done that already in certain ways, but how all of a sudden things start opening up from a vision standpoint, and you're the one that has to sell that because you buy it, now you sell it.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I look at my mom, and what I look at is her hands. You know, her hands are wrinkled up, you know, and it's not like she's 50 anymore. She's getting older. I start seeing it, and, you know, they're thin, you know, her eyes are smiling, but they still look old. My dad, I mean, I could see the tiredness in his eyes, and it's crazy, Andy, how everything, I mean, I start looking at my mom now, and I'm like, wow. You know, because I have lifted so much pressure that she was feeling some time back, then now, I mean, I see her skin's more refreshed. I mean, just totally different. My dad, I mean, anything that he talks about, hey, this hurts, I'm like, hey, set the appointment, because I'm able to do that. And so if I could buy time by being able to get the best medical care for them to be able to live longer, have a happier life, and Andy always talks about to me is give them something to look forward to. And so, you know, we're always talking about what's the next trip, because it keeps them alive, it keeps them smiling, keeps them excited that tomorrow's going to be so much better, because I keep selling it. I keep telling everybody, hey, you know what? We went to Francis, and I told my sister and my son, hey, you know, we're going to have one of these. We're going to have one of these. It's going to be so freaking amazing. We're going to have a big lake. We're going to do this. And my sister's like, yeah, we could have, you know, a house in each corner of the property. And I was like, yeah, because if you get on my nerves, you're going to be all the way over there, or, you know, Angel, or, you know, whoever. But, you know, it's talking about selling the big dream. I mean, you got to sell the big dream every single day. Even with my daughters, I have to sell it every single day, how awesome it's going to be. But, you know, mommy got to do the work.
Absolutely. One last thing, because when I got the rundown here, I get the rundown right before the show. Everybody don't believe me. They're like, you know what's going on. It's like, no, the hell I don't. You know, I was like,
No.
14 minutes till showtime. All right, better get the mics on, change my shirt, whatever. But it said here, Belda's dessert video.
Oh, typo.
Typo, dessert video. Actually, it says desert. But I saw dessert video. So you tell your ride or die, what do you call it? Not the ditch, the foxhole buddy. You run a contest for your foxhole buddy, Sylvia, almost at the ring, and then call me and say, hey, I told Sylvia's team if they do XYZ, you're taking them to the Palm restaurant. And I'm like, the Palm? I'm going to give them a picnic underneath a palm tree by Bahama Breeze, maybe. What, I'm going to take them to the Palm? What the hell did you tell me I had to do? So anyway, and it was a blast. We went to the Palm, had a great time, but through a screw-up, because I told them the place was all you could eat, I think we ended up with, let's see, it was 9 people there. I think we had 15 desserts on the table. So just real quick talk about that, and then we'll close this out.
I mean, it was hilarious because, I mean, first of all, I love chocolate cake. And, you know, I love the chocolate cake at the Palm. So I was really looking forward to that. And I ordered it, and I'm sorry, we're out of that. And I was like, huh? How are you out of that? And so every single time we order something, oh yeah, I'm sorry, we're out of that. And then the waiter had the cook come and tell us that, you know, our order, we couldn't get the dessert that we wanted because they were out of it. And so the waiter didn't even dare come back and try to tell us that they were out of whatever dessert. So he's like, no, you go tell them. I'm not going to tell them. But we ended up after that, I mean, they started bringing desserts like crazy, like 15 different desserts. And we're like, dang. And of course, you know, with COVID-19, the 19 stands for the pounds that we actually, you know, added on, right? So the desserts didn't help. So thank you, Sylvia, for getting to 100. And so we could eat very good yesterday. It was amazing. So proud of you guys. I mean, this is just the beginning of effing beatdown. So thank you.
Nice. All right. Great job. All right. Back to Darla and Rob.
All right.
Look at Belda censoring herself
I know.
for the family
Nice,
show we got
thank
going
you.
on here.
So, all right, you guys, July 9 through 11, right around the corner. Do you have a video next, Sam? Would you love to play it for us?
next speaker.
Updated.
There we go.
Watch this.
Oh.
All right, you guys.
Hey, look at that.
New version.
New version. Are you ready? Are you ready to get back? We cannot wait for you to join us. We have so much fun and exciting stuff planned for you. Go out and get tickets now. It will be a sellout.
Recognition cutoff July 4th.
Yes, it is.
And what else? New RVPs, submit your form. You can find the form at getbiggergohome.com in the download section. New RVP form. Make sure you submit that before recognition cutoff. And if you got the old tickets to the May School 2020, those are going to roll over.
Yep, you're all set. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and email tickets@nightglass.com, and the lovely Trish or I will answer your questions for you. So we're really excited. We're ready to get back into the rhythm, back into the routine. So let's get rolling.
You going to do this?
We don't have any
I didn't
tonight.
think so. I was just making
So I think
sure.
everybody promoted everybody on Saturday.
Yeah.
Right? They're still reloading. So we're going to not read promotions. So we can skip that graphic.
Trish, you ready with the top teams?
I'm ready.
All right.
And again, I have another 2 cents.
Oh, okay.
Oh my goodness. We'll like Mickey with a little editorial.
I know, you should.
She's got something on her heart.
What is it? Trisha's 2 cents.
Trish's 2 cents.
If you know you're coming to the event, just go ahead, go out, buy 1 ticket in your name, and that takes care of you for recognition.
Yep.
It's my little hint. Just buy 1. The price doesn't go up as we get closer to the event. We don't do that to you. So just go ahead and buy your 1 ticket, and then if you need additional tickets, they're out there for you to purchase, hopefully, unless we sell out. Or when we sell out, should I say that. So just go ahead, get your ticket in, and that's my 2 cents again.
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to read the RVPs that
And if you come whining to Trish about why am I not included in VIP, and it's because you don't have a ticket in your name.
Pretty much.
You're going to get hit in the nose with that microphone.
Pretty much. So it's just it just simplifies the entire process. You're where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there.
It certainly does.
And we don't have to jump through hoops. So there you go. All right. So the RVPs that have reported in since I was up last time: Vince Lane, Lucineris, Marmolejo, Ray Rodriguez, Rubio, Hamad Rizvi, Chris and Rick Walker, the Kings, Nguyen, Berryman, Walter Charles, and Anthony Malone. So those are all the RVPs. I think I've read everybody's name off now. So our top teams, as I announced, well, these numbers are slightly different. I'm so sorry. David and Garcia Catan report in with 77. Belda Rubio has reported in with 70. And Walter Charles has reported in with 75. So we're very, very tight.
Very close.
So again, it's these 3 base shops, Catan, Rubio, and Charles. And if you've already reported in, you need to report in again because those didn't count. So now we're taking our verifying.
There you
We're
go.
all set to go. Claudia, here I come.
All right, you heard her. We want to hear from the Catan base shop. We want to hear from the Walter Charles base shop. And we want to hear from Belda Rubio base shop. And we want to hear from no other base shops but those 3. Those are the only top base shops in the playoffs. So if you are in one of those base shops, now's the time for you to participate, even if you're not the RVP. You need to text 404-465-1830. Save it in your phone. Send it to your teammates. And then make sure you identify which base shop you're reporting for and put your solution number in there. If you don't have a solution number, you can put guest. Just make sure that you only send in 1 vote per phone number that you submit from. So I can't sit here and take my phone out and then I'm going to sit here and text my solution number and Darla's solution number from my phone. No, I do it from my phone. She uses her phone for hers. Yep.
I for
Independent.
the beginning of it. All right, you guys, get rolling on that. The next video, I thought this story turned out phenomenal on Saturday, is from Olivier and Tamina Brutus. So Sam, whenever you're ready, go ahead and roll that.
The environment in Primerica, in any business and whatever it is you're doing, I think it's underrated. And it's underrated because there's this thing in all of us leaders that we think my message is gonna touch everybody. But what you have to understand is If you don't, like I heard one time Andy Young mention, what I did was create an environment based on what I grew up in A.L. Williams so that players can come and step up and win in it. And then you don't take credit. Does that make sense? So literally, if you understand that, then he said, you take a bus, you bust a hole through the fence, and you fit as many people through that fence of freedom as you can. The only way it's not important is because you're not pushing event to event. You're not pushing big numbers. If you are recruiting, you need help because you're not a prophet in your own land. The problem is sometimes us leaders, we think a little too high of ourselves and we say, I got this. But a humble leader needs an event, right? A humble leader needs an event. But if you think a little too highly of yourself, it's like bothering your agenda. Let me have two people come up, right? Peterson, you're excited. Oh, Peterson couldn't wait. You know, Peterson and West, come up, right? So I'm going to have Peterson and West. Let's give it up for Peterson and West. So these two guys, so this is the deal. All it is just recruit people, and you help them recruit others, that recruit others, that recruit others, that recruit others. And then they will find themselves in the system, right? Because you say the same deal, what we do sells itself. We're not selling anything, we're just telling a story. So Peterson sees the presentation, Wesley sees the presentation. They have two totally different perspectives. Peterson heard the exact same thing Wes heard, but they process it differently. What Peterson heard is, I need to get 3 people right now. So he gets 3 people. What Wes heard is, I have to be certified to do what we do. So Wes starts studying. So Wes, are you going to get your 3 people, buddy?
No, I got to learn about how life insurance works. Need to make sure that I get it down in the mortality tables. I got to learn the mortality.
The best way you can learn, Wes, is if you put action. Right? Yeah. So come here, Wes, come here. If the best way you do this is if you have action. Yeah. Do you want to get a couple teammates and you can make moves?
No, I want to act on the studying.
All right. At this point, this is what we do. Oh my gosh, which book could I read? Which audio on POL? Which SoundCloud audio? That's what we tend to do, right? Let me send them extra one. A Michael Jordan video, Art Williams video, the risk takers. Or, hey, what's up, man? How's everybody doing? Hey, oh my gosh, everything. See, you pushing up people, you read the book? You recognize what you want your people to do. So we have Baby Genius, and we have the guy over here who has no idea what we do still. So what do you guys sell? I think we sell the rule of 27, right? So hey guys, what did you guys see him do when he started? Bring 3 people. So they recruit 3 people. So Peterson is still wondering, what am I gonna do? Right? He's still wondering. But now that they're getting their 3 people, guess what? You heard Andy Young went to an investment class with 30 people? Do you think you'll stay awake? Do you think you'll pay attention in class when you have 30 of your teammates in class? I'll tell you what, my teammate is not seeing me sleep. I might be asleep, right? But I'm like you ever chew air? Where's Siobhan? Do you ever start sleeping like? But my teammate is not seeing me asleep. There's sideline accountability. Does that make sense? So now how excited are they? Oh my gosh, right? Now watch this. How many of you guys knew that 85% of widows below 50 years old lose their home within the first year? Oh my gosh. And then what are they thinking? I know our aunt, cousin, sister, best friend, true or false? So let's say 40% of them get a sale. So how many sales is that? Let's say, move to the side. Okay, so let's say you guys stay here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sales. How fast did it just go district? That's not even a presentation. And if they say no, Peterson is going to kick them under the table. Shut up, get that policy. But it's $12 more expensive. I said, shut up. Okay. Right? You want to ride back home? You're right. And literally, that's how simple it works. But the problem is we become Dr. Primerica because we're not recruiting big numbers. See, your message is not the problem. The problem is you don't have enough winners. I was just talking to a new guy, Roberto. I was telling Roberto, listen, there are 100 people that you recruit. 2 to 5% of them are going to be winners. Those are not my numbers. Those are this is reality. 2 to 5 people succeed. So how often are you going to go through 100 people? Are you going to go through 100 people every 2 years, every year, every 3 months, every 6 weeks, or every week, or every day? Because how often do you want to find winners? Andy Young mentioned that in the next 18 months, there are going to be a lot of people that lost everything. They're finally going to put their heads up and want an opportunity. And my question to you is, how big of a net will you have to catch all these people? How big of a net do you want? Because you can literally recruit $3 million earners in the next 3 months. And by the end of 2022, you have 3 new $1 million earners. Thank you, guys. Let's get big.
Before Winston-Salem, we pepped up in 2010. We became married in August of 13. We went RVP in December of 2013. We got our ring in March of 2015, and we got stuck there. We, for the first time in our lives, were making 10 and 15 grand a month. He used to work at Domino's. I worked at Springfield Mall, okay? So it was a really exciting time for us. Had a baby. It was great. We were super frustrated, however, because you realize when you get to 10 to 15 grand a month as regional vice president, that's nothing, and you're not even getting your name called, okay? So in September of 2017, the great Andy Young came to an event and then later challenged us, and here we were in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, a city none of us had ever heard of. And when Andrea made that play, and I'll be very honest, right, I was like, does she know where Winston-Salem is, Wesley? You know, and so guys, we committed. We sold out. We stopped thinking a long time ago, and we started bringing people in buses to Winston-Salem since September of 2017. And since September of 2017, when we committed to that play to come here, because it's very simple. All we do is we have our away games at Winston-Salem. We have our local stuff in Florida with Andrea. She puts on the best show you'd ever seen in your life. And we just go back and forth. And then we have our Tuesdays and Saturdays that are popping in between. It's not that hard. So since Winston-Salem, we promoted our very first RVP, James and Sylvina Balat, in November 2017, fired up. In June of 2018, we promoted Harab Farismar. You just heard from him to regional vice president, okay? In January of 2019, we promoted Medjeline Charles to regional vice president, okay? In April 2019, we finally did over 50 grand in production, all of us, and became SVP, okay? And then, guys, it went crazy because our last regional vice president, Harry and Adeline Thomas, back home watching, killed it in December of 2020, and guys, it's been just up from there. To be honest, we got our second diamond in June of 2020. Now, mind you, we used to be frustrated at 10 to 15 grand a month, so we finally got our second diamond several years later. We got our third diamond in January of 2021 for his birthday, right? We got our fourth diamond in April for my birthday, because Akeem just loves us that much, right? And to be honest, guys, what we did in the first 12 years together, our team and us have done in the last 12 months.
All right.
Absolutely, you know, and I made my run back in '81. I went from 1 by 700 in premium, district leader, to 30 by 30 in 5 months from scratch. Gave that up, moved 300 miles away, started over, and 2 months later went to RVP. 5 months later, SVP, promoted 3 RVPs. So in 12 months from scratch, 1 by 700, build 30, 30, leave it behind, start over, and go to senior vice president from scratch. Today, that would pay you $500,000 a year if you did those numbers that we did back then. We have a better company today. The compensation's better. Everything's better about the company. And so you could say, well, I mean, it's a shame we did. Well, you know what? We can all still play the game today. We're still promoting RVPs. But I guarantee you, my business was built not only in the 12-month, but it was the first 90-day spurt, August, September, October. That's what got me to RVP. It was that January, February, March that we got the July, the 12-month later thing. It was that 90-day sprint. It was multiple 90-day sprints, even in Atlanta. The Warren Powers run, the Lisa Jones run, the Ted Roos's, Frank Dillon run. All those were 90-day sprints, 12 weeks to put something in place and continue driving that, the 3 who get 3 who get 3, building those districts. And you can change your life, as Art Williams says, in 90 days. So let's make a decision to go do that. And I promise you a big part of that is who's going to be there in Winston-Salem with the biggest crowds.
All right, so the last video that we have tonight is a recap from the weekend is Andrea Burks.
Yep.
She does these two phenomenal segments on vision and why not right now.
Yep.
Go ahead, Sam. Julie's right.
What's your vision? You know, what's your dream? So for me, as a single mom picking up this business, like, well, I want to provide the best life ever possible. That's only going to happen as promoting RVPs, right? So, you know, the thing about making more money, because people's like, oh, money's not everything. Well, when you have some breathing room, then you can say money's not everything. But until you have money, it decides where you live, where you vacation, for how long you vacation, right? How you vacation, right? Like for them, like camping is at the Ritz-Carlton. Can't wait, right?
Room service at
Yeah, I mean, you can
Ritz-Carlton.
buy
That's
those cute
camping.
little camps from Pottery Barn, you know, and put them inside there, right? But ultimately, I'm like, I want this house, you know, $1.5 million, but custom built. Like, that's mine. Like, nobody picked anything but me, right? And so talk about the foundation. See, so you have an architect. They have a picture, they have a vision of what's gonna look like, and we buy off. We buy off like, okay, we give them money, this, put the lot last March, and so I'm driving every day, and it's like, there's nothing, like nothing, dirt, you know? And like almost everything's dirt, it's a new community. And I'm like, Papi, look, this picture is gonna look like this, it's gonna be amazing. We're gonna have a jacuzzi, we're gonna have the big pool, you know.
The jacuzzi is a little pool, right?
Yeah, the little pool.
The little pool.
And he's like, no, it's not. There's just dirt here. He's 3. I'm like, no, papi, like, remember, like this picture, but that's not there. Like, no, but like, I'm telling you, like, there's gonna be a house, it's gonna, how long? Like 12 months. That's too long. And I'm like, it's custom built, papi, like, from scratch. So like, it's gonna take, and then there's permits, there's delays. So like by when? I'm like for Blake's birthday. And now my birthday? Anyways. So anyways, we keep driving every time, you know, at least once a week as I take him to school. And they're like, oh, why is there all these bricks? What's this for? Why is that in our dirt? I'm like, Papi, so there's the dirt, now they gotta build the foundation. And then there's like, I don't know about construction, but there's like this big, whatever, wires or whatever is going up, I guess, to get this foundation in place, right? The pillars. And I'm like, and he's like, why is that there? I'm like, oh, that's because don't you want a second floor, like for you to have, right? Meaning, are you painting the picture? Now you fast forward 9 months later, well, it's actually looking like a house. See, like right now you're looking at your business like, okay, really? Why these people don't even show up? Well, yes, I picked them up, right? I don't pick nobody. Like, if you can't even get your ass to the office, like, you figure that out. But you know what I mean? And so I'm taking him. Then there's the party. He's like, why is these people here? They're gonna live with us? No, Papi, they're building our home. You know, they're helping us. But long story short, bottom line, at the end, there's one house that got built faster, because I guess they closed, you know, earlier. And they're like, look, it's gonna start looking like this. And he's like, oh, it makes sense now. So we're gonna have a house there. We're actually gonna live there. And so, see, if you have something already built next to it, it is so much easier for us to think just based on just plans and pictures on floor plans. It's hard to think about it. But now that there's one to the left, one to the right, I'm like, look, it's gonna be like that one, just like that one, but like actually better. Because, you know, ours is gonna have the quartz, you know, upgraded everything, you know. So at the end of the day, what picture are you painting? It doesn't matter how negative they got. I'm like, no, this is gonna be amazing, it's gonna be unbelievable, it's gonna be, yeah, it was supposed to be in May, but I'm not over there dragging like, oh, can you believe it? It's like, oh my God, it's gonna be amazing, it's gonna be by the end of the year, like, what? It's gonna be amazing. It's delayed permits, maybe it's your vice president promotion, I don't know, your license, I don't know what it is, but walk and talk like that thing's happening. Any moment, right? So yeah, always cast the vision. Sell the dream to your people, because see, most people don't really believe this business, and it's because they don't understand it. They don't understand this business. They don't think it's simple, and that's something that just by you spending time with them, just like my kids, like showing them, they understood. Okay, yeah, that house is getting built. You know, the foundation is getting in place, and we're getting ready to close literally in less than 2 weeks. So it's happening. It's happening. It's going to take time. Nothing great will ever be accomplished overnight. But if you put in the time, it's going to get built. Well, I mean, certainly that we have the environment in place, right? And there's so many people out there that have been awakened. They've been awakened by the pandemic. They've been furloughed, let go, sent home. I have a couple friends, literally, the buildings, they're no longer going back. It don't matter. That's like the new normal. What new normal? The new normal is becoming financially independent with this company. Have you seen what we've done? Even just this environment right here, so you be double dumb. No, if you're not an RVP, to go RVP. By finding those layers of players. Don't go for no timid goal. This is not the time. Let's do 10. No. How many layers of players that can do 10? See, the question is, no, how are they doing 100? How could you not do 100? How could you not do 100? When there's somebody literally, as you see them in their car, dragging with a stressed look in their eyes, like, how are they ever going to retire? You get to any conversation with anybody, when you're going to retire, 67. That was when there was pension plans. See, we've been ingrained in this system. That's not even that's obsolete. Nobody's going to retire at 67 with dignity. Maybe that was our great-great-grandparents. That system's no longer there. So, but they see it now. Because that stimulus check, what is that going to stimulate? Nothing. Nothing. And now they have some credit for child. Are you kidding me? We cannot be a dependent society. We got to take ownership. Like, we'll give you whatever you're willing to fight for, whatever you're willing to accept. But we have the blueprint in place. We have the environment in place. We're getting ready to go back to Winston-Salem, where you're going to have all walks of life. My question to you, how many people are you going to have there? Right. How many people are you going to have there? It's not just, oh, I'm going to be there. No. How many people you're going to have there getting recognized, getting promoted, getting to the next level? See, you got to be the one person that paves the way. You be like, you know what? I don't know. Like, it's 2-3 weeks. I mean, at the next, whatever promotion it is, or get a couple players. It's a pushing up people business. So yeah, you gotta have situational awareness. It's not ever this good. It has never been this good. The compensation, the fact that we can promote RVPs, the fact that you have the same contract that Bobby Buisen has, that Andy Young has, to build a mega hierarchy so that our kids would never have to work jobs ever again. They never will have to work jobs. There's the men and women that built America, the Carnegies, Vanderbilts, Rockefellers, and there's the men and women that will rebuild America. See, we want to be talked about that after pandemic, coming back, some people are going to stay home, do the Zoom thing. Listen, I'm zoomed out. Like, I've been zoomed out. They're zombies. But we need to awaken them. They need hope. They need you to give them an opportunity to make a significant impact with their lives.
All right. Great stuff. How about that?
She'll be with us in Winston-Salem, right?
She'll be there. We'll talk about the system. You guys better load it up for Winston-Salem. I'll tell you what, I think we've got Francis Averett next week, some highlights. And I'm just telling you bottom line, this is a rare time, rare air. It's cocoa time. And you need to pull out all the stops, all the people you're bringing. Well, I got 2, 3. Tell them all to bring 5 or 10. They want to move their business. The time is right now to make that move. And Winston-Salem is going to be whatever you just saw and felt this past weekend, tonight, times 10. So make sure you max that out and make it count for you. So, guys, what do we got?
Well, your entire system, right, is available on getbiggergohome.com on the downloads page, right underneath the promotions form. Everything you need to know, it's all laid out there, both video, audio, download, stream it, whatever you want to do with it, learn it, do it exactly like that, and get exactly that, right? Yep. So I think we need to update the graphic, though.
Yeah.
Already,
new
again.
RVPs again.
Yep.
New RVPs
so,
again.
All right, what else? Oh,
back in Winston-Salem.
Sam, you want to play our video for us one more time?
All right.
All right. You know, though, man, Andy has been bringing the heat. Like, that's just a little smattering
Yeah.
of what we've been doing for the last year and a half, and he is not letting up. He's more intensified and more
Yep.
focused than I've ever seen him.
Yep.
So join us. We put the graphic back up for us. Join us in Winston-Salem for the kickoff of our return
Yep.
after COVID, whatever we're going
Homecoming.
to call it, the homecoming, right? July 9th through the 11th. Get your tickets now. Make sure you fill out your RVP form if you've never joined us before. And as Trish said, just buy yourself a ticket now.
Yep.
So that Friday night, when you think you're supposed to be VIP, and then I make you sign a sheet, and then just skip all
Yep.
that. Do it now.
And if
be
you want to
sure.
walk a block or less, get a room at the Marriott or the Embassy Suites.
Yeah, if you
There,
can.
there's plenty of other ones, though, if you want to walk 2 or 3 blocks that you can get there.
It's a nice Hampton.
Yep.
So, all right, I think
Rally
that
winner
brings us to Rally Winner. Rally Winner.
All right. So we have got, Walter, you reported in with 80. I had 63 verify.
Make sure you get them
I'm
in the right
slow
order.
tonight. Sorry, guys. Belda, you reported in you had 70. 67 verify. Excellent. David and Garcia Catan, y'all reported in with 70. I had 75 verified.
All right.
So
There
we
we go.
have
Good
a
job.
new winner this week, David and Garcia Catan. Congratulations. Great job, all of you, though. I mean, that's,
Yep.
yeah.
Bringing the heat, because
Yeah.
they brought it over the weekend and
Yep.
turned it around. So
Yep.
you guys are doing a great job.
Email
So-
tickets at nightglass.com, David.
Yes. All right, so tonight we're going to leave you with
We'll wrap
a
up video.
beautiful, awesome, very exciting wrap-up video from Saturday. And we will see you all next Tuesday.
Oh, and thank you to the
Francis
audience.
Averett. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Bring them back. Can you bring the audience on? One more time from every place. We thank you so much for coming and joining us, hanging out with us. Those who didn't bail at the end.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, let's roll that video, Sam.
SNSD Factory! SNSD Factory! Let's go! I'm so happy, pumped up to be back live, man, to be able to see the team back. You gotta be in the environment, baby, because you gotta get big or go home.
We're coming stronger. The business is gonna explode because right now everybody's looking for an opportunity. Everybody wants to build their business.
I didn't sleep last night. I was ready for this. Here at 8 o'clock, ready to get it pumping and just to see everybody excited. It's a big deal. Environment is everything.
In my book, there is no excuses. It's either we get it done or we get it done. There is no plan B.
Get rid of the still people in your life. Still complaining, still broke. If they ain't talking positivity in your life and helping you not make excuses, get rid of them.
This is my first event with Andy Young and then our coach, The Beast. I'm just planning on getting some nuggets I can take back, turn it around, make RVP, just building my own company within a company.
A recruiter is somebody that can teach somebody to go from salary mentality to the override mentality. The people that can do that are the people that are going to build amazing businesses.
It's time for a new generation of Primericans to emerge out of this room. Yeah, we got a bunch of people been around for a long time. It's time for you to come out and get yours. It's time for people to know your name.
After all is said and done, perseverance is everything. Do not stop, keep going. Primerica will work. The only way Primerica don't work is if you don't work.
This is your business. The more butts and seats that you have, the bigger the money you make.
This is a contact sport. Primerica got created by the legends this way. Make sure you're there in Winston-Salem in July. It's gonna be crazy.